Hey, did you know that there are almost 1.7 billion unbanked people in the world? According to World Bank, we have 1.7 billion people who do not bank their money in the traditional banking services that we know. So where do these people bank their money? That's a significant number, right? But where do they bank their money? That's what we're going to look at. We're going to be looking at Saccos, what we call a savings credit cooperative society, or as people know them, Saccos, or they're just credit unions. Basically, people who come together and they decide to pool their resources together and give loans to their members and some interest on their savings. So Saccos are very common. Like I told you, there are so many people who are unbanked. And the reason they're unbanked in different parts of the world is sometimes due to access of normal banks or the traditional banks, and sometimes convenience. Saccos are more convenient and more accessible to them, more efficient to use. Sometimes it's because they lack trust in the traditional banking system, and sometimes it's just because of lack of awareness that they don't bank in the traditional form. Whatever the reason is, what you need to know is that there are a number of people who are unbanked. And in the developing countries, mostly like Kenya, Saccos have become an integral part of the society and building the local economies. So we cannot move away or run away from Saccos because they are here to stay and because they are very effective in ensuring that those who are at the bottom of the economy are actually building massive wealth for themselves and for their generations using these particular financial institutions. So we're going to look at some of the best performing Saccos in Kenya. We're going to look at which ones have performed well in 2021, where should you invest your money, which ones are giving you the best interest rates on your savings, which ones are likely to give you the best loans on your savings, which one gives you the best share capital dividends based on your savings, and the membership. There are different things I'm going to tell you that you need to look out for when you're joining a Sacco. But before we get into that, let's look at the statistics of Saccos in Kenya. So at the moment, we have almost 14 million members who belong to Saccos in Kenya. That's a huge number. And the Saccos in Kenya currently have deposits amounting to almost 740 billion Kenya shillings. And they own assets worth over 1 trillion Kenya shillings. That tells you how much Saccos are impactful in our society and why it's not something we can look at and ignore. It's something we have to discuss when you're talking about financial literacy, financial education, financial freedom, investing, savings. We have to talk about Saccos. So it's important that we understand this. Otherwise, guys, welcome to Kenyan's Money Matters, and here, as usual, we talk about the money mindset, how to make that money, how to manage that money, how to enjoy that money, and how to invest that money and assure yourself of a lifetime of income, basically financial freedom. So we're going to be looking at Saccos today, the best performing Saccos in 2021. This will be a short video just to tell you where do you want to put your money if you are investing in the Saccos in 2021. Some of the best performing in terms of the interest they're giving you, basically the returns on your money, and the share capital dividends that they do pay out to their members. And of course, like I said, there are many things you need to look for before you join a Sacco. So before we get into the details of what shares are you getting, what percentage, we have to ensure that we have the right foundation and the right principles behind joining such Saccos, because I don't want you to run and go invest in any kind of Sacco for the sake of it. And one thing I have to mention is that we need to stop thinking of Saccos as places of getting loans. People do think of Saccos as a place where they can just go and access credit at will. But that is a wrong mentality. If you think of a Sacco as an investment vehicle, then chances are you will end up making good money and good investment decisions than if you think of it as a loaning vehicle. Because again, debt is not good for wealth building. So sometimes people have access to that debt, they misuse it, and then they continue paying and paying. So the money you're investing in the Sacco doesn't help you, because anyway, your interest on the debt is much higher than what you're getting on the Sacco. So that's something I always say, that don't save with the mentality of getting a debt. Save with the mentality that you're making money, you're building wealth, and it is compounding wealth. There are so many benefits to joining a Sacco. One of them is that you are building wealth and compounding wealth. So what are some of the things that you need to look for before you join a Sacco? So of course, you don't want to join a Sacco that is run by an individual. That's number one thing. Most Saccos that do fail are run by individuals. You want a Sacco that is owned by the members. Membership ownership is extremely important because that would mean that everyone has a say, there's a board, and they actually take into consideration the requirements of their members. So do not go into a Sacco that is run by an individual, because most of the time, if anything happens to that particular person, it's a very risky venture. It's like investing in one company. Now, this one is not even a company, but an individual. It's extremely risky. So do not invest in Saccos that are run by individuals. And then the next important thing is look for a Sacco with a good track record. History, when was it formed? How long has it been there? How has it been performing so far? Look at the track record of that Sacco. Look at how long it's been there. Personally, I do say that a Sacco should have been there for at least 10 years for me to actually know that this is a stable Sacco. So look at the history of the Sacco. Most of these Saccos I'm going to mention were formed in the 1960s, 1970s. And therefore, that means they have a very clear track record, and you do not doubt that they will be there in the next probably 5 to 10 years, right? You want to look for good leadership. That's everything. Even when you're choosing companies to buy, usually you have to look for good management, good leadership, people running the show. How are they running the show? Who are the people making that team? Do they have any dramas? Do they have any court issues? Do they have any past mistakes in different investment firms, wherever they were? You have to look at the leadership and the management style and how things are run in that particular Sacco, and you need to be happy with that. If you're not happy with it, then that's not the Sacco for you. Then, of course, the most important part, again, is investment options. You don't want to go to a Sacco that is investing in highly risky places whereby you're likely to lose everything you've saved. You also don't want to be going to some Sacco that is very conservative, and therefore you end up not making anything out of your investment, right? You don't want to be wasting your money, wasting your time. So you want to look at the investment options, and if it is something that sits well with you based on your risk appetite, based on your goals and objectives, and based on what you actually want out of your money. Then you want to look at the history and the performance. How has the Sacco been performing? I said the track record. Track record can be in terms of many things, but now you have to focus on the performance of the Sacco, financially speaking. How have they been performing? You have to make sure that they have performed consistently and well over a period of time. Don't go for excessively performing Sacco. No, I'm just saying it has to be something consistent and something that is within a normal range. You always know the normal ranges. You don't want to go for something that's extremely risky, something that is very, very conservative. You want to look at what is the range in the market. If something is giving you very high interest rates, for example, you have to start asking yourself questions. What are the investment options that they do take, which I mentioned just previously? And then you want to look at how much do you get in terms of loan. Now, in case you need loan, what do you get? I'm not saying that everyone will not need loan. Sometimes you are in a position whereby you need that access to credit facility. You want to start a business, you have an emergency, you want to do something that has to be done with that money, you may need that loan. So you have to see how much access would they give you to the loans if you are a member. And finally, make sure that members are decision makers. That's the most important thing. It has to be a democratic process whereby your considerations, your ideas are taken into account when they are making decisions, and they're not just making decisions for themselves. So yes, there you have it. Those are some of the factors you must consider when you're joining any Sacco. So even the Saccos I'm going to mention today, don't just run because they have good interest rates, they have good dividends. No, look at those other factors first. So number one is the Police Sacco, and the Police Sacco was formed in 1972. Has a membership of 60,000 people at the moment. You get 10.5%. That's really good. It's way above what the bank would give you. It's almost higher than money market funds, but almost around the same. 10.5 is quite solid, quite good. Like I said, if you treat it like an investment, you can make good money. The share capital dividends, basically the dividends you are paid at the end of every financial year, in this case, is 17%. That is really high, really high. So Police Sacco 1972 was the formation. That's a good history. Membership 60,000, solid membership. Savings 10.5%, and a share capital dividend of 17%. Now, if you want to join the Police Sacco, you need to check out my video on some of the top Saccos and how you can join them. I have done that video before. Check it out. some of the top Saccos in Kenya, generally speaking, and based on all those conditions I mentioned. That was not based on performance, that was based on the other conditions I was just talking about. So you can go and check out that video and you can decide if you actually want to invest with them. The Steamer Sacco is number 2 in 2021 going to 2022. Formed just a few years after this Police Sacco, 1974, has a 140,000 members and it is giving an interest of 10.3%, so the difference of 0.2. So if you save your money, your interest is 10.3, and a share capital dividend of 14%. For me, that's good still, very good for me. I don't mind if I were investing in that Sacco. So that is Steamer Sacco as number 2. Number 3, we have Tower Sacco from the 1976. Again, giving 13%. Wow, I think that's the highest in terms of interest rates. Only bonds would give you that kind of interest rates right now in Kenya. But 13% assured income, assured interest rate, you won't get that. That's way above the inflation rate, way above the bank rates. So that's something worth looking into. So Tower Sacco, if you belong to any of these Saccos, please comment below. Let me know what is happening. Let me know how they treat you. Please give us information, please, please, please. Comment below, tell me which Sacco you belong to, and tell me what they're giving you so far. And this Tower Sacco is giving a share capital dividend of 20%. Man, 20%, guys, that's the highest. I think that's the highest on the list, I believe. So number 3 is Tower Sacco. We say is one of the highest in terms of interest rates and share capital dividend. Mhasibu Sacco from the 1986, 18,000 members, giving an interest rate of 8.15%. That is market average, and it's very high in terms of share capital, which is 15%. That is number 4, Mhasibu Sacco. Number 5, we have Hazina Sacco from the 1971 and giving an interest rate of 10.3, similar to number 2, which was Steamer Sacco. So it's giving 10.3, but their share capital dividend is 20%. That's quite high. Hazina Sacco, 20%. That's really good, man. That's really good. With really good history from the 1971. Followed closely at number 6, we have Nation Sacco. Nation Sacco, 1975, that's when it was formed, with 5,000 members, and it's giving an interest of 8% and a share capital dividend of 15%. Number 7 is Safaricom Sacco, again formed in 2001, more than 10 years for sure. 12,000 members, 7% as the interest rate on your savings, and they're giving dividends of 12%. Now, you need to always check the joining instructions of this Sacco. So, like I said, check my video. Then number 8, we have Sharia Sacco, giving 8.5% interest and a 16% share capital dividend. We have Gusii Mwalimu at number 9, from the 1977, 12% on interest and 13% on share dividend. And then we have Kimistu Sacco, Number 10, we have Kimistu Sacco from the 1985, 9,000 members, 8% as interest rates on your savings, and 15% share capital dividend. Finlem Sacco from the 1997, and this is giving 6%. So guys, there you have it. Very simple, very straightforward. I have given you a list of all the Saccos best performing. Like I told you, make sure first of all, you know why you're joining the Sacco and you check all those things I told you about Saccos and how to join them. Check my video. If you belong to a Sacco, please comment below. Let us know which one you belong to, and please tell us what you're getting out of it and if it's a good Sacco. I'm not saying this list is conclusive. This is just based on 2021 performance going into 2022. Let's see yours. Tell us, guys. Thank you, and till next video. One's a company, two's a crowd, three's a party, come on.